I'm going to go through an exercise that we like to call the chiropractor. The idea being that if you do this well, you probably don't need to go and see one. Great exercise for the glutes. It's going to open up some hip internal rotation. If we get it right, it's going to really promote some hip extension, and it's going to decompress the lower back. It's a very simple exercise. There's a few subtle cues I'm going to go through in a minute. All we need is a 8 to 10 kilo dumbbell and a wall. And if you don't feel an absolutely ton of glute stimulus after 5 or 6 reps, then you're probably not doing one of the small cues as well as you could be. So it's a single leg crossbody hinge. I'm going to put the holding side foot on the wall. My shin's going to be about parallel to the ground and my knees roughly level. I'm going to bring the dumbbell across my body, so it's going to go down the line of this standing leg. And now I'm just going to perform my hinge. So I'm just going to have a soft knee, and I'm going to bend in the middle to take the dumbbell down towards my laces and back up. Here are some of the subtle cues. I want to turn with this side of my body, the holding side of my body. So as I reach down, I'm going to perform what I call a bow and arrow, where I'm reaching down with one arm and pulling up through the other shoulder. So that promotes this big turn of my torso. I'm also going to try and drop this lifted side knee down towards the ground as I move the dumbbell. So you'll see this knee follows down towards the floor as the dumbbell goes down. Both of those turns are going to be really good for promoting a lot of tension in the glute med. To target the glute max, we need to think about our center of mass. So in a gym, when we're doing RDLs or hip hinges, we often think about sitting back into the heels and getting a stretch on the hamstrings. We don't want that at all with this exercise. We don't want to feel the hamstrings on too much of a stretch. I want to have enough knee bend so that the hamstrings are pretty quiet. And I'm actually going to use my foot on the wall to project my body weight forward so that my weight's still touching the ground through the heel, but mostly into the midfoot or even into the ball of the foot slightly. I think about peering over the edge of a cliff, so I'm getting my head way out in front of my foot as I hinge down. And then the key thing for hip extension is that I want to keep my head forward as I stand up. So I'm letting my hips chase forward as if I'm going to take a step and start walking off the wall. If I pull my head back and I thrust my hips forward like this, it creates the illusion of hip extension, but you'll feel straight away that it's not driven by the glutes. It's going to be a much more lower back driven extension, and this is a strategy that will get promoted by typical hip extension exercises like squats, like deadlifts. And this is something that this exercise can help remedy very effectively.